Hello everybody, or until people get on. My name is Princess Colgrove and I'm up here at Patrick's Point State Park as always. And today I am going to talk about our baby baskets, but before I start talking about that, I do want to just acknowledge that today is what we call Orange T-shirt Day, which is a day to wear an orange shirt or orange, the color, to acknowledge and represent the Indigenous children who were taken away to boarding schools and residential schools. And it's a day to remember and acknowledge those survivors and to remember the children who did not make it home from those residential schools. So I'm going to go ahead and start talking about this, what I have right here. This is a baby basket, and in Yurok it's called the na'as, and this is a doll inside of the basket. And this basket belongs to my cousin Dazachi Sewanoff, and it was the last basket that my auntie made before she had passed away, and so I really enjoy seeing it and being able to see her work. You can see that on the back there is a design woven into it, and that's a really kind of technical thing to do, and it takes a lot of practice to do. And for Hoopa and Yurok people, this piece that has the beads on the front is called the lifeline. And so you never put a baby in a basket without a lifeline. The lifeline kind of signifies the baby's life and is a representation of that child. For other places in different areas, there are different parts of the basket that's the same basket, but are different. Like the lifeline for other cultures is this around the top. It's not this, but for Hoopa and Yurok people, this is the lifeline. You can see on the side also there are like an abalone shell with dangles hanging down. For this basket in particular, we put abalone shells for my cousin Dazachi because it's a representation of the type of woman she will be. And an example of another basket is my cousin Tesson, actually Dazachi's brother. There's a lot of dentalia shells on them because that's more of like a male representation. And so you can see there's kind of a padding that goes inside the basket that the baby sleeps on, and these are super secure. And so you can see she's tied in with these leather straps, and you can have her straight up and doesn't fall, or laying down, and it's really just secure. So if something were to happen, if the basket were to fall, the baby is secure and safe. And the reason it's shaped like this is because it's somewhat, what my grandmother says is it's somewhat of a shape of a uterus, and so how the baby curls when she's still in the mother's stomach, that's why the legs come up like this, and her a baby is kind of at an arched angle, and it's comforting. And these are really there are different ways that it is important, because just like how they sit their hips, it develops their hip bones and their hip muscles. And when you make these noises, so when you hold a baby, you rock them like that, and it helps develop their hearing because these are on both sides, and so they can hear and kind of develop another sense of hearing. Another part of these is you can put straps on them. And so on this one there are straps. Not everybody puts them on their baskets, but a lot of the people in my family do. And when you put the strap on them, you can carry them like a backpack like this. And you put both straps on, and it looks like that. And so while you're working, while you're doing all of these things, your baby can observe what's going on around and be super secure and safe. And a lot of cultures have things for babies like this that are really similar. Some look different but have a similar meaning. And so yeah, that's a little bit about this baby basket. Here's a model basket that I made when I was in high school. We had a lot of classes when I was in school for basket weaving, and so this was one of the things that I was able to make. A lot of our little girls now have a lot of these doll baskets for their dolls, like this doll that I have here, that are about this size or bigger or smaller, just to have, because when our kids have their dolls, they do what they know how to do. And so a baby that is brought up and raised and sleeps in one of these baskets, that's what they're used to. And so they have baskets for their dolls. We still use these all the time. Today you might see them, if you're up in Northern California or around this area, you might see something very similar to this. We still have a lot of them. People still make them. Most Indigenous people from this area have a basket for their baby. And so it keeps them safe. It's very secure. And like I said, this one is my cousin Dazachi's. She's 4. I slept in a baby basket when I was a baby. And we all kind of have grown to love our baskets. And even today, I went to talk to my aunt about picking up this basket to use today to share with everybody. And my cousin Dazachi crawled in her brother's basket, which was kind of larger, and she just sat in it and wanted to take a nap. And I know a lot of kids now also who kind of get lonesome for that secure feeling. They wrap themselves up in a laundry basket and will take a nap or sit in there and watch TV and do things. And my cousins grew up on their mother's back, in their baskets, on her back, moving around camps, moving around the house, around in different stores, around different gatherings, all of those kinds of events. And so they're very observant because that's what they would do when they were really young. So we can look again. You can kind of see the oval shape that this one has. And this has it on both sides, these dangly pieces, and they're different on this basket. And depending on how big the basket is kind of how long a baby will stay in it. My sister was in her basket until she was about 2. My cousin Dazachi was 3.5 when she stopped sleeping in her basket. And it kind of, you grow a love for your basket. And so those two specifically were to the age where they could untie themselves or tie themselves in. And so we would go get them ready for a nap, and they would wrap themselves up and tie themselves into their basket. And then when they woke up, they would untie themselves and walk out and surprise everybody. And so that's a little bit about this. It's made from spruce root and willow sticks, and sometimes hazel sticks. And you can see that they're really straight. And they're generally gathered, these sticks are gathered after the bush or the plant has been burned. And so they grow really straight. And so that's kind of why it's like this. They also kind of are like a representation of, like I said, the child's life, and so they are all in order and neatly done. And yeah, that's a little bit about this basket. So if there are any questions, we'll open it up for that, and we'll give it a few seconds.
I don't see any questions, but I had a comment. Hi, it's Maiya. Behind the camera. That's funny that you say that people will go and be in a laundry basket and kind of hang out in a laundry basket. I'm 19 years old and I still sit in laundry baskets and watch TV or watch videos and things like that, which is actually really funny because I never really thought about that because I was carried around in a baby basket and I still do that today.
Yeah, I catch myself wrapping up super tight in a blanket because it's the security that you kind of get lonesome for. And so it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of cool to see that kids and even adults and teenagers still do that because they're lonesome for that feeling. And so if there are no questions, we're gonna end it there.
Well, you could talk about, oh, no, I thought that was a question. How long does it take to make a baby basket of this size, the miniature size, and compared to a larger basket that a baby would fit in?
So for me, personally, this basket took, I think it was like 7 months to do, but that was meeting once a week, going for an hour or two and working on it. For a basket this size, it varies for different people how long it takes them to make it. I know some people can make one in like a year or within, you know, a 9-month period. Other people can make it in 6 months. It all depends on how fast you work on it, how consistently you work on it. So if you're working on it every single day, or if you're working on it once a week, like with me, I work on this one once a week, but it's also very small. And so
There's 2 questions, and I also have a question for you. Just to start more conversation. Can I see how it's carried on your back?
Yeah. So you put it on the strap.
Kind of like a backpack,
Yeah,
but a baby backpack.
And you just walk around like this, and your baby can take a nap. They can look around and observe things. Like I said, my cousins are very observant because they were carried around so often, and they would just look around at everybody, look at what they were doing, seeing what was going on. And so it's kind of cool that even when you're busy, you still have responsibilities. You still have to have your child with you. You still have to include them in all of your activities that you're doing, whether it's gathering, weaving. When we work on the trails for one of our ceremonies, I know my younger cousin Tessa was carried on his mother's back through a lot of the trails, and we would kind of just prop him up like that on a tree while we were cleaning a certain area out, and he would look around or take a nap. And yeah, so.
Second question, where can you find the sticks?
The sticks can be found either along the river or in the mountains in different areas. Kind of for willow sticks, it's in a damp, wet area, and for the other hazel sticks, it's more of a dry area.
My question, I already know the answer to this, but do people have personal designs they put on their baskets like your auntie did right here? Is everybody's basket the same?
No, not everybody's basket is the same. Actually, everybody's basket is different. My baby basket was probably a little bit smaller than this one, and the roots and the sticks are darker on my basket. My brother's basket has a design like this that was also made by one of my aunts. My sister's looks similar to this, but with a different design. And there are some families like to use a specific design, but not everyone does. Some just have a really pretty basket design woven into them.
So we can do a last call for questions.
If anybody has any questions, you can also comment them later, and we can try to get back to you on those questions.
There's some other noise in the background from visitors in the park.
So if there's no other questions, we can kind of wrap it up there.
One more question.
Okay.
Nicole says, "It's beautiful!" Exclamation point. Are there classes to learn how to weave? I can put partial answer to that question.
Yeah, so there are different basket weaving classes for like the native communities around, There are some offered in Hoopa, and there are also some offered in Klamath, but I'll let Maiya kind of talk about that a little bit.
So there is classes going on right now in Klamath, in their town site. My grandmother, actually, she's doing classes. I don't remember the dates, but if you look on the tribal website, I'm pretty sure it's posted there, or Vicky Bates's Facebook page. There is a flyer that was sent out, and she does weaving classes from all ages and all stages of learning baskets. There is another question. When is the best time to gather the sticks?
There are certain times of year to gather the specific sticks used for this, and also the roots. I'm not exactly sure the time of year for those, but I can find out and get back. Okay, so if there are no other questions, we'll wrap it up there. We appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching and asking questions and being a part. And we also appreciate everybody that's watching virtually and wearing masks and staying safe. And we appreciate the people that do wear masks and are following all the guidelines for when they do come into the parks. We are also cleaning and doing all of that. And so we'll see you next Wednesday, and tune into our other interpreters programs on Facebook and Instagram at 3 p.m. Thank you, guys.